Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chase Media channel. Today we're going to be continuing in our world challenge here from our last airport, which is Tango Tango Charlie Papa. Today we're going to be also doing a short flight from Tobago over to Trinidad. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Anyway, this flight is supposed to get us take us about 40 minutes or so. Today we're going to be using the the Microsoft Flight Simulator provided ATC, and we're going to be using also the FS2 crew as an assistant for our flight for today. Today we're going to be also flying at the low altitude, about 6,000 feet from what I saw at the sim brief flight plan. And another thing, if you like my livery, you are more than welcome to download it from the link in the description below on YouTube. With that being said, let's jump right into the cockpit and start setting up for our flight. Right, battery on, emergency lights on, ground power on, and parking brakes are set. Let's start setting up. Let's start setting up.
Roger.
Okay, so for some reason the first officer is on the other speakers. Okay, so let's fix that.
Audio test complete.
That's better now. Okay. Now, let's check out the IR. Not the as well.
Audio test complete.
Also, that's also set on the correct audio output, which is great. Let's jump onto the FMC and request our fuel truck. Okay, so this is our flight from before. Let's unload it. Okay, let's spin a few charts. Today we're going to be departing from runway. Let's see which runway is that. That's going to be... No, this is not our flight plan. Okay, this is our flight plan for today, and we're going to be departing from runway 11. So in case we're going to need to come back, we're going to be using an ILS.
I'm out for the walk around.
Let's do the ILS Yankee approach as soon as we're gonna need to come back for some reason. Alright. For the arrival, we're gonna need this one. And we're gonna be arriving via ILS approach runway 10. there is no references here. Very good. Okay, let's pin also those charts on our physical iPad. Okay, from Tango Tango Charlie Papa, we want the runway 11 Zulu, no, Yankee approach. Okay, so it's gonna be ready for us if we gonna need it. And here we're gonna need an ILS, VR ILS runway 10. All right, so that's set. And let's go back onto the FMC and let's take a look onto our flight plan. So for today's flight plan, we're gonna need a 7 tons of fuel, so it's gonna be 7230 to be exact. 7230 here. Let's start fueling up. The ARS is want to us to enter its position. We're gonna use last position. And for the origin, we're gonna use a Tango Tango Charlie Papa. For the departure, Tango Tango for departure, and Tango Tango Papa for our Tango Tango Papa Papa for our arrival. Too much. Alright, so let's uplink our route. This is gonna be our flight, very short flight. Let's load it up. Route uplink is ready, and I think it's headed out.
Hi, the security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Yes.
Thanks.
Oxygen tested 100%. The crew is already on board. Thank you very much. And the configuration horns. So 1 is okay. 2 is okay. Both are working just fine. Very good. Let's activate our route performances. So let's check if the GSX has entered our payload. It is. We can continue on to our payload. Alright. The performance page. So for the zero fuel rate is going to be 51.7. The flight cost index will be 72. And for the reserve, that's going to be that's gonna be let's set it to 2. Okay, so zero plant fuel is gonna be 77.2. For the flight level, that's gonna be 0. 6,000, not 6,000, not 0. Alright, and the average wind for today's flight is going to be at 103 degrees at 40 knots. So let's set 40 knots. And let's execute that. And the temperature deviation is going to be plus 12, which is going to be 15. Okay. Let's hit execute. Takeoff. Takeoff to be expected flap 5. The CG will be 23.1. Those aren't available to us because we haven't selected the departure. So we're going to be departing runway 11, and now it should be available for us. Okay, so those are the V speeds that we're going to be expecting. But before we're going to be continue, let's go ahead and jump to the performance tool that the PMDG has provided us with, and let's import those and import the weather. Let's calculate our V speeds, our actual V speeds, and then let's go ahead and open up the FMC. So that's correct, and the V speeds are V1 is gonna be 130. V rotate will be 131, and V2 will be at 137, and flaps will be using flaps 5. Okay, and let's go back to performance. It suggests us to perform at 2-1, so and 1 limit, take off 1, take off speed are deleted. Okay, so let's see if it does suggest again those speeds. No, it's not suggest those. So let's enter those again. So
I'm back. No issues on the walk around.
0 for V1. 131 for V rotate, and 137 for V2. Okay, so we're gonna be flying direct to November Alpha Papa Kilo Oscar, but before we're gonna do that, I want to go ahead and put runway 11 here on the screen. So let's see.
Glide slope. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up.
And then runway 11.
Airspeed low. Sink rate. Pull up.
It's
Terrain.
heading
Pull up.
at
Don't sink.
109.
Don't sink. Too low. Terrain.
So I want this.
Too low. Gear. Too low. Flaps. Too low.
109.
Terrain. Glide slope. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Approaching minimums. 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 2,500. 1,000. 500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40.
Wait,
30. 20. 10.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Too low. Terrain.
TCAS test. Pass.
Okay, so we're gonna do like that. Tango Tango Charlie Papa. Okay, we're gonna set it to here, and we fly runway heading, which is 109, and
Hi,
we want to be
here's the
out
fuel
at
slip.
Thanks.
3
Welcome.
miles.
Have a nice flight.
And then I would like another again at 109 degrees at 5 nautical miles, and then only then we're gonna begin continuing to our route. Slow speed, probably like that. More accurate to be exact. Let's put this down at this kind of. Let it like that. Okay, let's do that. So we're gonna be flying direct from the runway. Okay. Auto throttlers are armed. Flight directors are armed. Mine is master is a slave. VNAV, LNAV should not be armed. We're gonna be flying the head and select. So set heading 109.
109. Set.
Set course your side 109.
109. Set.
Set 109 decimal 30 nav 1.
Roger.
Set 109 decimal 30 nav 2.
Roger.
Set 132 decimal 20 com 2.
Roger.
Set 109.30 nav 2.
Roger.
Set 109.30 nav 2.
Roger.
Set 132.20 com 2.
Set.
Set 132.20 com 2.
Roger.
Set 132.20 com 2.
Roger.
Alright, I don't know what is rogering, but let's do it ourselves. 132.20. Okay, and also on standby we want 126.7 126.7 for standby. Okay, very well then, and let's go ahead and continue for our departure brief. So today we're gonna be not gonna do any noise-based procedures. Threats, there's none threats. Rust will be rated APU not required, and TIC is not required. The procedure will be via vectors, and departure via the stand. No pushback is going to be required. Let's go ahead and do that.
Are you ready for the departure brief?
Go ahead.
Okay, no pushback. Start on the stand. Taxi route will be as assigned by ATC. It will be a left seat takeoff, using rated thrust. Planning a flaps 5 takeoff. Anti-ice will be off. Above 80 knots, we will reject for fire, engine failure, loss of control, or wind shear. The crew member noticing the abnormality will clearly state the problem. I will call reject or continue. If the decision is to reject, I will close the thrust levers and disengage auto throttle. Observe or apply maximum braking, raise speed brakes, apply maximum amount of reverse thrust consistent with conditions and bring the aircraft to a complete stop on the runway, stow the speed brake, and set the parking brake, advise the cabin, this is the captain speaking, remain seated, remain seated. I will then perform any necessary memory items or checklists as appropriate. If an evacuation is required, I will initiate the evacuation checklist. In the event of an engine failure after V1, we will continue the takeoff, rotate at VR, call positive rate gear up, and cancel the master caution. There will be no other calls below 400 feet. At 400 feet, I'll call for a roll mode, then call confirm the failure. If required, we'll perform any necessary memory items, climb at V2 to V2 plus 20 to 1,000 feet AFL or TOCA, whichever is higher. Retract flaps on schedule. When flaps have been retracted at or above, flaps up, maneuver speed, call for level change if VNAV is not engaged. Set max continuous thrust, and call for the appropriate emergency checklist. We are under our maximum landing weight, so we are okay to make an immediate return. The departure routing will be via ATC vectors. No noise abatement procedures required. VNAV is armed. Flight directors are on. Mine is master, yours is slave. Navigation radios are set. The NOTAMs and the aircraft defect log have been reviewed. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
No questions.
Departure brief complete.
Takeoff runway 11 climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure frequency is 123.7 squawk 0522.
Squawk 0522.
Chase 1 cleared to Piarco Airport is filed. Takeoff runway 11 climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure on 123.7 squawk 0522.
Chase 1 read back, correct. Contact ground on 121.7. Good day.
Okay, 121.7 for
Hi guys,
Chase
here's the load
1.
sheet for you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Set.
No problem. Have a safe flight.
Ground Chase 1 with Kilo ready to taxi IFR.
Chase 1 taxi 2 and hold short of runway 11 using taxiway cross runway 11. Contact.
Crown Point Airport information, Kilo 1100 Zulu. Wind 065 at 5. Visibility, 6. Sky condition, 1,800 feet, scattered few clouds at 4,900 feet. Temperature, 29er. Dew point, 10. Altimeter, 29er.91. ILS Yankee runway 11 in use. Landing and departing runway 11. DFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Kilo.
Taxiing hold short runway 11 using taxiway cross runway 11 Chase 1.
Well, that was a new voice I heard there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board today. As you locate your assigned seats, please place your smaller items under the seat in front of you to provide more room for larger items in our overhead compartments. If you need assistance, contact the flight attendant. If you are unable to accommodate any item in the cabin, please bring it to the boarding door and we will check it for you. Also, review the safety instruction card in your seat pocket. If you are
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Yes.
Thanks. Let me know if you need anything.
Before start checklist.
Before start checklist. Flight deck door closed and locked. MCP.
V2137 heading 109, altitude 06,000.
Takeoff speeds.
V1 130, V rotate 131, V2 137. V2 137.
CDU pre-flight.
Completed.
Rudder and aileron trim.
3 and 0.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Completed.
Anti-collision light on. Before start checklist complete.
Start sequence is 2 then 1.
Check.
Start engine number 2.
Start an engine 2. Oil pressure. Starter cutout. Number 2 stable.
Start engine number 1.
Starting engine 1. Oil pressure. Starter cutout. Number 1 stable.
Flat 5. Flight control check complete. Before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist. Generators on. Probe heat on. Anti-ice off. Isolation valve auto. Engine start switches continuous. Recall.
Check.
Check. Auto brake. RTO. Engine start levers.
Idle the thing.
Flight control.
Check.
Ground equipment.
Clear.
Clear. Before taxi checklist completed.
Clear left.
Clear right.
Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps 5, green light.
Stabilizer trim.
4.6 units.
Before takeoff checklist completed.
Approaching. 1.
Tower Chase 1 at runway 11 ready for departure IFR to Piarco. Cleared for takeoff runway 11 Chase 1.
On runway 11.
Okay, let's wait for the cabin to get ready. Usually we're not all into the runway like that, but yeah, so why not?
Oh, flight deck. Okay, thanks. Cabin to cabin is secure.
Alright, thanks. Runway entry procedure. Runway entry procedure.
Okay. Cabin crew, take your seats. Clear on the approach. Ready to go.
Takeoff.
Thrust set.
Airspeed's alive.
$80 knots.
Check.
B1, rotate.
B2.
Positive rate.
Positive rate of
Gear up.
climb.
Gear up. $400 feet.
Flaps 1.
Speed check. Flaps 1 set.
Flaps up.
Speed check. Flaps up, set.
Select LNAV.
LNAV.
After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds, on, packs, auto, landing gear, up and off. Flaps, up, no lights. After takeoff checklist complete. Happy to release the cabin crew.
Okay.
Okay. Thousand to level.
Transition set standard.
Standard set. Passing flight level 058.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments, we'll begin our meal service for the flight. Please refer to the menu given to you on boarding for the 2 meal choices and your beverage choices available. We request
Now.
that you keep the aisle clear to assist the flight attendants to serve
Autopilot on.
efficiently and also for your own safety. Thank you.
Select VNAV.
VNAV.
Okay, so let's go ahead and prepare for our landing. Gonna be landing in runway 10. We're not expected to be 1 4 or 5. Set 109.70,1.
Roger.
Set 109.70,2.
Roger.
Okay, let's start. So for the fixes page, we're gonna set Tango Tango Papa Papa, Tango Tango Papa Papa, no, not like that. Tango Tango Papa Papa, and we want 5 nautical miles from it, and we want to mark 10 nautical miles from the airport, and 15 as well. So we're gonna be beginning our brief just right now. Okay, so for the brief, minimum will be, let's check that, 50 MDH. Minimum will be 265. Missed approach altitude will be 22,000. Upper will be ILS, vectors, last one.
Are you ready for the approach brief?
Okay.
The arrival routing will be via ATC vectors for an ILS approach, planning a flaps 30 landing. Final approach fixed altitude is 1,400 feet. Decision height is 265 feet. Missed approach altitude is 2,200 feet. Taxi route in will be as assigned by ATC. We'll be arriving at a remote stand. Descent speeds and navigation radios are set. Airport NOTAMs have been reviewed. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
No questions.
Approach brief complete.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their upright position. Make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened, and all carry-on luggage is stowed underneath the seat in front of you or an overhead bin. Please turn off all electronic devices until we are safely parked at the gate. Thank you.
Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Pressurization. Landing altitude is 50 feet. Recall. Check. Auto brake. Level 3. Landing data.
VRAF 145 minimums 265 feet. Minimums 265 feet.
VREF 145. Minimums 265 feet. Approach briefing.
Completed.
Descent checklist completed. flight deck. Okay, thanks. Captain, the cabin is secure. The level. Radio altimeter alive. Cabin crew, take your seats.
Approach checklist.
Approach checklist. Altimeters.
2992 set.
2992 set. Approach checklist completed.
Flaps 1.
Speed check. Flaps 1 set.
Flaps 5.
Speed check.
Gear down.
Gear down. Flaps 5 set.
Flaps 15.
Speed check. Speed brake up.
Flaps 30.
Flaps 15 set. Speed check. Flaps 30 set.
Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Engine start switches.
Continuous.
Speed brake.
On.
Double check that, please. Landing gear.
Down.
Flaps.
Flaps 30 green light.
Landing checklist completed. Autopilot off. Final approach fix, height checked, missed approach altitude not set.
Set missed approach altitude.
2,200 set.
$1,000.
1,000 feet,
Approaching.
stable.
1, 0.
$500 feet.
$400.
Approaching minimums.
300. Approaching minimums.
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 Continue.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20.
Speed brake up. Reverser's normal. Auto brake disarm. 60 knots.
Okay to clean up.
Roger.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the captain asks the doctor to sign the aircraft response. Thank you, Captain. For your education, Captain Captain. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today.
APU on the buses. 3 minutes.
Shutdown checklist.
Stand by.
Shutdown checklist.
Shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps off. Probe heat off. Hydraulic panel set. Flaps.
Up.
Parking brake.
Released.
Are you sure about that?
Sure.
Engine start levers.
Cut off.
Weather radar.
Off.
Off. Shutdown checklist completed.
Okay, let's see if we can fix our position. So, okay, secure the aircraft.
Roger.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign and the aircraft is parked safely at the gate. This will be your indication it is safe to move about the cabin.
Secure checklist.
Secure checklist. IRS. Something's wrong here. Emergency exit lights. Something's wrong here. Window heat off. Packs. Something's wrong here. Secure checklist complete.
Okay, let me secure the aircraft for you. IRS off. Packs off. Emergency lights off. Secure checklist.
Secure checklist. IRS off. Emergency exit lights off. Window heat off. Packs off. Secure checklist complete.
All right. Let's shatter request from GSX to deboard our aircraft. Boarding. And let's shatter down. So, ground power off. And the battery's gone off as well. So this is it for a flight, very short flight, although we have managed to land the aircraft pretty good, I think. Let's display the landing rate. So the landing rate was at 138 feet per minute, which is pretty good, as long as it's under the 200 mark. Even though 200, it's also still considered very good. But my goal is to make it at about the average, as close to the 200 as it gets. And this is it for our flight today. Thank you very much for joining in, and if you are watching this stream, please consider leaving a comment in the section below. I would much appreciate if you could like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on my next stream.